Hey, you guys! Why? All right, so Goonies Never Say Die. Goonies for life. I guess I have just become an honorary Goonie. The movie's in its 39th year. Next year will be its 40th anniversary. But it took me, I guess, 39 years, even though technically I wasn't born yet. But from the movie's conception to now, 39 years for me to be a Goonie. So I've never seen the movie fully through. The only memories I ever had of the movie was, hey, you guys, with Sloth, the Truffle Shuffle. Most of the people in there I know, like Corey Feldman, Brolin, all that stuff. I know the kid actor is really good. Stupid Fat Hobbit being in there too. Well, I forgot about him, and I was like, oh, yeah. And, the kid from Indiana Jones 2 and all that. And the scene at the beginning where, that's my mom's favorite piece. That stuff sticks with you. That stuff sticks with you. That one stupid scene in the opening with the statue of David there, and they break it off. You got it upside down, you idiot. If God intended it that way, you'd be pissing all in your face. So like that. That's my mom, like, of course. When I was younger, it's like, of course. That's my mom's favorite part. It's like stupid stuff like that. And then I know, like, One-Eyed Willie and, the bits and pieces. I've seen that, and it was one of those things of the movies where, like, my aunt liked it and people will be on. But it's one of those things where it's like, like you would say, like, for the longest time, Star Wars, I wouldn't watch, like, just sit down and watch Star Wars. It would just be on television. You just see it, watch it or whatever, do something else, go do something else, come back, and then different parts. That's why, for me, it's always Empire is always like, what the hell happens in Empire? Then bits and pieces finally put together. I'm like, besides, the ending, the opening, some of the stuff in the middle is blurry most of the time because I never, watched that one full. Return of the Jedi as a kid was my favorite. But we hear about Goonies. Holy crap. So, first time fully seeing it. This guy here just got done watching it with his family and then now watched it with me because he's like, hey, you should see it type of attitude, because it's in theaters and, I'm like, yeah, whatever. And we missed out on the first chance to see it, and then it came back again. I was like, yeah, maybe might as well. And I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was laughing my ass off in the theater. I was smiling in the theater. Just quit smiling over there, asshole. I cried. Shut up. I teared up during this movie. Because it's two reasons. One, you don't get these kind of movies again anymore. And you never will get these type of movies anymore. I'm watching this 100% for the first time, and I'm reacting as if I've watched it my whole life. And I'm talking about it as if I watched my whole life as a full-fledged freaking fan of it. You don't get these movies anymore. It's just that the look of it, the feel of it, just the stories and everything. They had the little mechanisms. The kid with the one kid, the one that was, Indiana Jones. I can't remember the kid's name, but he won the Oscar, a couple years back when he was hugging everybody because he was all excited for that anywhere, any place, all at once or whatever. Good for him. Seems like a good guy. Was a good kid too. So you got that. Then you got the little contraptions for the house, and then it comes back again with the contraptions in the caves on the pirate ship. I love that stuff there. So you have all these good actors, and there these characters again. Sean Astin, Stupid Fat Hobbit, Mr. Frodo. Again, I just mentioned the kid, the Asian kid. Sorry, because he kept on, I go down. I don't want the booby trap. I don't want to take the stairs. I love the bitching. He had enough. They were all relatable freaking little kids. He had enough. He was done. Love it. But I can't remember the name. Like some of them, like I know Brolin was, the older brother. Thanos. So, it's awesome as hell. I'm like, holy crap. Holy crap, you got, like I said, you got Thanos. You got freaking the Hobbit, Lord of the Rings in here. You got the mom. I had to tell him, like, the one girl with the shorter hair and the glasses that break, the Velma. She's the mom from Raising Hope. Love that freaking show. That was a damn good show, and she's the mom. And it's like, yeah. And then, of course, obviously, Corey Feldman. He was in everything back then. Still a great guy. It's a shame what happened to him. which is why Hollywood deserves what it gets nowadays because of the treatment and the treatment of him and everyone that's trying to tell their stories. And everyone's just like, oh, shut up. No. I hope all those people burn. But, good for him for saying what happened and everyone else that speaks out against the crap that these people have done. But holy crap, he was amazing as always. The one girl that liked, Brolin's character, she was pretty funny. And then, she had a use again. The piano and everything. She had use. Everyone kind of came together and had a usage. And as I said, you don't have... And, of course, the kid, being a chunk there. And then meeting Sloth, and it's like them coming together. And I like the Bad Family got Throw Mama from the train as the mom, of course. Hey, kid, that. Holy crap. She's always a joy to see. Both the brothers were awesome as hell. And the one guy, it's like, was it Richard or Robert Davi? I recognize that guy's face. He's in everything back in the day. And yet I'm looking up movies, and I'm like, I guess from this and this? But then he must have been in other things too, but his face was always in something. He was good too, and I like how he's like, hey, I'm starting to like this kid. When he's confessing to everything he did, and it's like, spill your guts or we'll blend your... And he's just crying about everything. He's like, I like this. That kid too, holy crap. Oh my gosh. Hey, they got everything here. They got ice cream, and then there's the corpse in there. That's funny as hell. And then, and then they're like, oh no, watch out. Shh. Oh, they got pizza. Pepperoni is like, shut up. But he is really, you're hungrier than I am when he meets Sloth. It's an awesome moment. You don't get this stuff anymore because, one, if they were to make this today, if they were to do this today, it would be an all-girl movie. There are no name movies again nowadays where it's like this. They are trying less to make movies that are like a girl movie and a boy movie. Stuff that's meant for one and one for the other. They're trying too hard to push the girls into the men's stuff and not really men into the girl stuff, though. It's fascinating. So where's the equality in that? But it would be an all-female cast of Goonies, but then they would have the personalities of all these boys with how boys are. This is how boys act and think and do. This movie has perfectly different types of the way the boys act. And even the older brother, it's how they act. But they would have the girls having those personalities, which it does not happen in real life. The girls in this movie have the right personalities. Not everybody, but the majority again. It's just they're different. And that's the problem with stuff nowadays. Because now they want to make a female fight club. They want to make an all-female this. It's like, it's not going to work. They fail. That's why this wouldn't get made, because you don't see anything that's all about boys being boys or boys getting together and having adventures. There's never anything anymore about like a father and a son, a mother and a son. Every character in a movie nowadays is the parent story involves a girl. You notice that? Everybody has a daughter nowadays. Nobody has a son anymore in movies. It's a rarity. Why can't we have those? Why can't we just have adventures of boys going out having adventures? Now it's got to be, it's really ridiculous. I think the last thing we had, they tried it with Stranger Things. I know they tried, but I just don't think it works with they tried and they do a good job, but you still can't recreate that anymore because it's still like you're trying to mimic that stuff from the past, the 80s. And it just doesn't have that feel like you're watching this actual 80s movie and you're feeling it. Holy crap. It just, everything about it, the music and the scores. I like the music score they had at the beginning of the movie when they were showing little chase scene and everything. Catchy little tune. Cyndi Lauper doing a freaking little song in there too. 80s. They're freaking wearing the shirts they're wearing. Everything about it was great. Really enjoyed it. Maybe but it got me because you don't get this stuff anymore. And then it's just a nice little story. They're doing this not just because, for the hell of it. Nowadays, people just be like, well, we want these kids to go on an adventure. Let's just do it because. There's a reason they're doing it. It's because their home, their livelihood, everything's going to be gone. So they're like, we want one last thing there, and they come upon that pirate, the treasure map for the treasure, One-Eyed Willie, and they figured, why not? What do we got to lose? And then they go on there, and they have all stuff there. It's like, I miss you. And then, like, the bond with the brother and the older brother, I love that. That was really nice. Every time they try to get close and they hug, they're like, aw. But then he's simply like, yeah, goofy, and something like that. And then dragging them. It's real sweet. And then just the everybody just, you can tell, it seemed like a legit, real, genuine little group of like, little outcast friends. It worked, and they could tell they cared about each other, and they cared about trying, when he said, like, that's theirs up there, this is us, this is our time down here, and it's like, they do things for us, we got to do this for them. Damn, there's a lot of good stuff there. He did a good job, Sean Astin, when he's, like, reciting everything, and he's doing this, he really does a good job. They did an all great job throughout that movie, and then again, it's not just them. You got Spielberg behind it, Donner, and you got freaking Columbus behind it. Everything, I can see why it's such a popular thing. It's quotable. It's got good characters. It's got good messaging. It's got good heart. It's got laughs. It's got a good people behind it, which makes me feel like, and it's got the mom from Monster Squad as the mom in this. And the one lady with the Spanish helping out, she was a hoot. And I loved Corey Feldman when he's trying to explain, if you lose this, 2 weeks, then you'll be here with the cockroaches. And it's like, oh, this house is... And it's just it's that magic and that adventure as a kid. And you're going through all this stuff there. It's kind of stuff like you watch it, like as a kid, those lies that you get where, you're like, oh, you're a kid. Like, boy, that'd be cool to go on an adventure like that in the movies. And you see it there, like a happy, super fun slide down the water, the pirate ship scene, the cavern set and everything, the ship, the water, everything about it just looked really good. Wow, I really enjoyed it. So it was pretty good, and I wasn't expecting such a deep thing there. And then him with this little touching thing with Willie, and at the end saying thank you to him as it's gonna tear up again. Very well done, and the family, the moms and dads all happy. And then the one guy's like, oh, you're telling me these stories again. And I'm like, I know it. He's gonna be the one who's like, oh, come on in. And he looks up and I'm like, he's gonna see the ship. That's when the ship, because when the thing mechanism goes, you see it open up, the ship's going to sail out at some point. And then when I saw him, like, he's going to be the one that noticed the ship first. And be like, oh, son of a bitch. And I like how Chunk and Sloth just get this little bond of like, we love you. I love you. Good for everybody. Love it.
Good enough for me. I
don't know. Did you want to add anything? But again, I've never fully seen the movie, and I'm a fan now. I liked it. It's really good.
When I saw it earlier this year with my brothers at home, I knew when they were put it in theaters, I had to drag my best friend to it. I know he likes stuff like Monster Squad and all these other things back in the good old days when kids go on adventure, a coming of age type of movie or something like that. And this is a really good, deep story movie. And I'm pretty sure if you made it this far that you would have seen it before. And if you haven't, definitely see it or drag your friends to see it.
At least next year. It'll be the 40th anniversary. They're putting stuff back in theaters for their anniversary years. I'm sure they'll put this out more worldwide, maybe, to like more theaters for a 40th anniversary. I don't see why they wouldn't do that for like a Fathom event type of thing or something. Just seems like 40 years for such a big, iconic movie.
I didn't really get to see this as a kid, so I didn't really get to grow up with it as a cult classic like other people have had. But I do find it a very good movie, and it still holds up to this day. And it's what's good about movies back in the day. They can have a bunch of characters in it and still have them each with their own personalities and each with their own.
They were all different. It was
exactly,
real
and
nice.
they can all be likable and stuff. Nowadays, they don't know how to do that.
And I feel like nowadays, like it seemed more genuine, even with people will be crabbing about stereotyping. For like, oh, of course, the Asian kid's gonna be like this, and of course the fat kid's gonna be like this, and the girl's gonna be like this, and the other girl's friend is gonna act like this, the brother's gonna act like this, the other brother. But it was like legit how it was and is. Nowadays they would be more, I'd say, of a caricature. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't like let's do this and this when we create them to have these personalities and to be like this, or let's have them act like this. Nowadays it will be that because that's all they know. You hate stereotypes and all this stuff nowadays, but they make them. The people that complain about them, the people that, they do stuff, it's like, well, it's a cartoon or something. I mean, it's how it is. They stereotype everybody like in The Simpsons, but no, we're offended by certain characters in The Simpsons, even though those people usually aren't offended by those type of characters. It's usually people who lean this way that get offended, and it's quite funny. And it's just nowadays all these characters would be written, probably more offensively, without them like knowing it. Like, they would, like, make them like that, but it'd be like, wow, really? This movie from 85? No. Nowadays, they would make it like that. And they would also lose all their personality. That's what I liked with Beetlejuice 2, you know, where there's a lot in that movie where, Lydia's daughter was going this whole, like, well, I care about, climate and all this stuff there. While you're trying to push, like, a nice little subtle message in there, well, but at the same time, there was a lot of jokes against it. So while it's like, I like how it didn't kind of take a side. It's like, okay, she's your typical girl in college, and she's going for this type of stuff there. She's, holding the signs like, you normally see. But at the same time, she wasn't just stuck in her head, and she listened to, like, oh, now I believe and I'm open to all this stuff there. And then meanwhile, all these other people, like, characters are dying. Oh, look, another climate person when they come in there. Oh, here's someone that's doing stuff with oil, and they're all dead because of that. They die because of their stupidity. You can go for things, but you also can't be stupid with it. So I like how then they're making fun of, like, everything has to be organic or everything has to be this with these characters, and like, ooh, and they're making fun of that kind of stuff, which was very nice. But nowadays, this movie, any movie like that, you can tell the ones they already try to reboot and remake, they lack the soul because the people that made those movies put their life into it. The people that do this now do not do that.
Yeah, and so what's good about Goonies, it is a product of its time, unlike the movies nowadays, which are a product of their time. You feel the heart, the warmth, the feel of the 80s in this movie, and yet it still holds up to this day. And it still captures the spirit of being a child. And even as an adult, you can still relate to how it was back to be as a kid back in the day when you were younger.
Ain't that weird? I'm not a child. I'm not like their age in this movie anymore, but I can relate to it. I don't have, to watch a movie or a show that has, hey, that's me. I see me in there. You don't, like, I never understood that. I just watched a movie with kids and a guy that's, oh, you got, I felt for him, and I felt for all those kids. I'm like, I'm not like those. I'm not them. I watched Beetlejuice, and I felt for the people who were dead people and ghosts. So, I could feel that stuff because these movies were made right.
Not only do they do good with their characters and stuff like that, they do good with the music. It may be from the 80s, but it's still, the instrumental music is beautiful. They do good with the sets. They're not CGI, obviously, because back then they didn't have that. They do actual sets, and so that makes the tricks, the mechanics of all those traps and stuff really, really resonate. It's kind of like a Home Alone kind of traps, some of the stuff. But it's just such a great film, and it's something about it that it's why people really like it. For example, we went to go get the tickets, and the person selling us the tickets was like, "Oh, I didn't even know it was in the theaters. This is one of my favorite movies." Type of attitude.
Yeah, and it's like, oh well, there's one more showing again at like 10:30. So but yeah, it's always a shame. But that's always good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So she seemed excited.
So it's good to find other fans out there. And as I said, it's something you could take, people who've seen it, people who haven't, and they'll all enjoy it because it's well written. And not only just for children, they also have adult jokes in it, like you said, with the statue.
A lot of stuff in there.
And
the guy with this freaking mirror there, looking up her skirt. I'm like, jeepers. Like, jeepers, dude.
Or the
him on his little bike. That was funny.
The kissing, it would be, if you can get your kissing as good as the parts catch up to the kiss. Yeah, at the end of the joke. There's a lot of adult jokes in there, and yet it's still, something you take your whole family to. It's something kids can enjoy, adults can enjoy.
Yeah, it's like it was funny for stuff, but it wasn't like vulgar.
Or hit
that's
you over the head
the point.
It.
Like today, if they were to do those jokes, they would just make it vulgar, because that's what happens when you watch like anything nowadays where they try to make something adult. Like if you look at the adult Harley Quinn show, or you look at anything that's, well, what makes it adult? Well, we're going to have lots of blood and gore. It's like, okay, what? There's going to be, let me guess, cursing? Oh, you're going to curse every few seconds? Gotcha. But then it's like there was adult stuff that was made all throughout many years and they were clever and they were well made. But it seems like nowadays, if you want to label something adult, that's just going to be cursing and then just blood and guts and bad CGI blood and guts and like the cartoon ones that are really weird. And then just like they got to make it too raunchy and vulgar to the point where you're kind of like, really, that's a little much type of stuff there. Where instead of just trying to push it for the sake of sort of going for a nice little joke, now it's just like, it's just not entertaining. Because the people in charge of stuff nowadays, what is that they say? Like a lot of movies and stuff written, people had life experience. People who write the stuff nowadays have no life experience. They're mostly just sit at home, go to a coffee shop, etc. And so what do they have to write? They know nothing of life, so of course that's all they can write.
That's right.
And it shows in the last, like, what, 8-10 years of movies? Nah.
Yeah, and they just don't have creativity like they do back in the day.
And these people nowadays just don't have the talent for it. They don't have the skill. And people aren't getting hired for the talent and skill. And it shows. That's why Hollywood's failing, and good for independent stuff. And good for movies like this and a lot of other ones that keep releasing them. I'd rather go, and I know probably I get you the majority, because you keep seeing people going, I haven't been to the movie theaters in like 5 years, 10 years, stuff like that. And it's like, But they're like, oh, they're re-releasing this? I'm going to go watch this. It's like, yeah, that tells you everything.
Well, of course, especially with nowadays we can own the movie or stream.
Yeah, I mean, you can buy the damn thing, but I'm like, but it's one of those ones where we've seen over the last couple of years where I'm like, I never had a chance to see it in theaters because not born or not old enough at the time yet. So it's kind of like, this is awesome. Or for the fact that this movie was such an experience seeing in theaters, like earlier when they put the three Raimi Spider-Man films. I'm like, dude, I haven't seen those in forever, and it was something to see in theaters. Saw them all again in theaters. I'm like, just tearing up. Like they still hold up and they're amazing. And it was nice to see them again in theaters.
So the problem with nowadays movies is that, like you said, people don't know how to write. They also like to write themselves in it.
There's too much of that.
This one, you don't see a character stand out like that, like when they do write themselves in it, where it has to be centered around this one person who's just unlikable, has no personality.
All the people that make movies nowadays are unlikable and they hate themselves, so they insert themselves, and then how can we relate to something like that when we don't hate ourselves? Most people don't hate themselves. And the people in charge of everything in the media right now hate themselves and hate everyone else because they hate themselves. They're full of hate. So you can't create... It's like the thing like Tolkien, whatever everyone says, like, look what they're doing in the Lord of the Rings right now. They're desecrating his legacy and his work. But he said, like, evil can't create. They can't. This isn't about creating something. So, yeah. That's why everyone's choosing to go see these. I don't care if I have, like, what was it? Finally, we can go on even more and more because this is going on. But, I've never seen a Hocus Pocus, and then finally saw that because I was like, hey, look, the DVD, like $5. $5. Can finally watch it. Great movie. And then last year was the 30th anniversary for it in theaters, along with Night Before Christmas. And we're like, let's go see him in theaters. And I'm like, I don't care if I have the damn thing. Like, even as cheap as I can buy the movie for $5, but the ticket's like $10 or $15. It's like, oh, well, I want to see it in theaters. I'll pay money for that to see in theaters over the majority of things that are being made these last few years in theaters. Well, and that's a lot of people that think that way. That's very telling.
Yeah. There is something special about seeing it on the big screen, even movies you've already seen before. It's definitely an experience. And you could catch details you may not have caught the first time by seeing it on the big screen, all blown up, just like when you get it on Blu-ray versus DVD or VHS. It's so nice that they're putting these movies back in theaters, and I'm glad we were able to see it right before they pulled it out of the theaters.
We lucked out. But yeah, I love it. I thought it was good. And I don't know, it's really good.
Yeah, it's
damn good. I first time fully seen it 100%. Damn well enjoyed it.
We can go on forever. Apparently,
yeah, I could go on even more about this and why this is better than... I can name like every movie that came out this year, and this movie would be better than all those. Even though I did like... It could compare. It could go against my top 3 this year. And probably I probably want to say is better than those 3. But it could go up against those top 3. Same with my
Definitely.
top ones last year and the year before, the year before. I know it's good. Took me long enough to finally watch the whole damn thing, but it's good. It's great.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad I was able to get you to
I love
watch it.
Slav. I always liked what I saw of him. So I'm like, I enjoyed his swashbuckling and his good naturedness and him doing the thing where he, see him tearing up again, where he lets them all out and he holds up the thing like, you guys go. And it's like, I love you. It's like, I love you all too. Then it goes down. I'm like, no, I hope nothing happens to him. Then they all wind up at okay at that. I'm like, oh, good. He's okay. I'm like, don't do one of those again to me.
Yeah.
Great freaking movie. Holy crap. Love it.
So if you
I want to play that board game now.
definitely, it's the newest one. From Funko is a cooperative one with different adventures. I haven't played
for
it yet.
Sure, we got to play it soon.
But I also got the Blu-ray collection from years ago that actually have a game.
Yeah, with it.
I'll
so
have to check that out.
A couple of Goonie games coming, I guess.
Maybe we'll do a review next year. Probably not.
Honorary Goonie. Yeah, we're Goonies too.
So if you're a Goonie or if you like this movie or want to give us a comment below, we'll definitely respond to it if we can. Thanks for watching the video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out our other videos, and definitely keep it gnarly.
That's what Corey Feldman kept doing all the time. I always got to comb his hair in that movie.
Yeah, I love when he did the Spanish, to be honest with you.
So good. Oh, yeah.